I'd like to call to order the regular and discussion meeting of the Mount Lebanon School Board of Directors. Today is Monday, December 9th, 2019. We are in room D205 of the Mount Lebanon High School, and it is 7:30 p.m. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by our friends at Lincoln Elementary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Kitsko, who do you have with you today?
So I want to thank the board, Dr. Steinhauer, Dr. Davis, and Dr. Irvin for having us here this evening. I have students from 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade from Lincoln Elementary. We offered an opportunity for students to write about what makes Lincoln Elementary School a special place to them. And out of the entries that we had submitted, these 5 students were selected to be here tonight to share their own words with you. So I'm going to turn things over to them. They'll each introduce themselves and then share their response. What you hear tonight are their own words, not mine. So I'm going to give things to them. Thank you for having us tonight.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Aria Cornacione. Lincoln Elementary School is a special place to me because of the people and activities. When you walk into Lincoln, it is nice to hear a warm welcome, and that's exactly what you get from the teachers supervising outside and friends in the hall. Lincoln is also a special place to me because of the teachers. They help you out when you struggle, talk to you when you're sad, and much, much more. The activities are also exciting too. For instance, strings, lunchtime clubs, Awesome Abe tickets, and encores are a fantastic way to try something new, take a break, or hang out with friends. To sum up my thoughts, Lincoln Elementary School is a special place to me because of the people and activities. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Marty Weisberg. Lincoln is a special place to me in a way I can't really explain it all in one paragraph. I think Lincoln is unique because we have a lot of awesome and amazing things, including a big playground, a fun library with tons of books to enjoy, big classrooms, and school supplies. Lincoln is special because there's this one thing we do that is called a ticket. What you do when you get a ticket is take it to the office, write your name on it, and put it in a hat. At the end of the week, a ticket gets chosen, and you get a picture taken with cardboard cutout Abe Lincoln. This is really cool and fun because 4th and 5th grade classes have a competition for whoever gets the most tickets gets a class prize. Because of this and much, much more, Lincoln is a fun place to learn and to play thanks to all the teachers, staff, and principal.
I am Amanda King. What makes Lincoln special? Lincoln is so special because all the teachers are amazing. I have 3 sisters that went to Lincoln and they loved it. I am very sad leaving Lincoln. I was so sad when they left every day, but when they came home with a smile on their face. When I started Lincoln, I felt welcome and I knew then why they came home with a smile on their face. Lincoln's teachers are amazing. They all have unique teaching styles and are great. The kindergarten buddies with 5th grade is awesome. Being a role model at Lincoln is a great feeling. All our holiday parties, readathons, concerts, and going to shops are things I will remember and make Lincoln in its own way. We are not like other schools because we are awesome Abes.
Hi, I'm Teddy Beldick. When I first came to Lincoln, I was very nervous. A lot was new and different. I didn't have any friends here, and I didn't know anything about how things worked at the school. I met a lot of nice people during my first week, and I even made a couple of friends. Things were already going better than I expected, but then they got even better. There's a library. I was super excited when I found out that there was an awesome library. The library is what makes Lincoln Elementary so special to me. I love to read. I like the library because there are a lot of cool fiction books, lots of my favorite series such as Spirit Animals and Alex Rider, and an awesome librarian who gives me lots of great book recommendations.
I'm Lila Thomas. Lincoln School means that whenever you step inside, it's a pleasure both to you and your teachers. It's a place where you can play with your friends and feel safe. Lincoln is where you make never-ending friendships. You can feel free to ask any teacher about a project or worksheet. Lincoln School is an experience, not just a school. It's a place where you can feel that you fit in because at Lincoln School, service is the rule.
Thank you.
And as I said before, those are the words of the students. They just answered the question, what makes Lincoln a special place for them. So I want to thank them for their hard work and their interest, and I think they did a great job. So thank you for having us here this evening. Thank you so much.
1 second, guys, okay? Because we're going to take a picture. But first, I just wanted to say it sounds like Lincoln is an absolutely wonderful school. You guys are very, very lucky. So enjoy it, okay? We're going to come take a picture, and parents, you can get up and take all the pictures you want.
So if you turn around towards the audience, and if you put your papers down, I'm going to stand next to the bow tie guy. That's it.
You have to be careful when you're sitting back. Be in the picture.
Everybody got their pictures? Thank you very much, boys and girls.
Roll call, please, Ms. Slinsky.
Beal?
Here.
Capucci? Here. Diamond?
Here.
Fleischer?
Here.
Hackett?
Here.
Reamer?
Here.
Stratmeyer?
Here.
Wyland?
Here.
Holbrook?
Here. I would like to mention that Dr. Hackett is joining us over the phone this evening. He is currently at the annual meeting of the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. So he could not join us in person, but he is on the phone. Mr. Beal, approval of the minutes.
I move that it be resolved that the Board approves the minutes of the Policy Committee held November 11, 2019, the discussion meeting held on November 11, 2019, and the regular meeting held on November 11, 2019.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Student council reports. First from Mellon Middle School, we have Brooke Morowski and Maddie McDonald.
And don't be afraid to move the microphone down. So you have to, that's where you have to speak from.
Good evening, school board members, faculty, parents, and staff. Faculty, parents, and friends. I am Maddie McDonald, an 8th grade executive board member at Mellon. I am excited to share with you what our student council accomplished this November. Our first service project for the fundraising committee, coinciding with our theme, Won't You Be Our Neighbor? Students participated in our Spirit Day, Cardigan Day, in support of WQED's initiative to create and spread kindness. During the month of November, Student Council provided a daily quote from Mr. Fred Rogers. We challenged the students to complete a daily suggested act of kindness. Also, Student Council planned a service project to help our neighbors who couldn't afford to feed themselves during the Thanksgiving season. We sold feathers for $1. Each purchased feather was on display on our turkeys in the lobby of Mellon to create a visual of our support of the Food Kitchen on Brookline Boulevard, a wonderful group that supports neighbors in need. In connection with our new advisory fundraising, we raised $666 in total for our neighbors. We also collected gently used hats, gloves, and scarves to keep these people warm during the cold months of Pittsburgh. Thank you to the Mellon students and staff for your hard work and support of our local families and friends in need.
Good evening. I am Brooke Morosky, and I, too, am an 8th grade executive board member at Mellon. With our hard work for the month of kindness behind us, we are looking forward to December and the spirit the holidays bring. First, our Mellon elf is back, sitting on a shelf somewhere in the building. Hidden around Mellon, students will hunt looking for this mischief maker. Prizes are awarded each day to the lucky Mellon student who finds Andy. Along with this run, we are celebrating our 12 holidays of Mellon. For 12 straight days in December, students are asked to participate in Fun Spirit Days. They range from Mistletoe's Day, where students wear festive socks to dress as your favorite holiday character day, where students dress as Cousin Eddie or Grinch. We also have Frozen Friday and Winter Sports Day to keep it fun and easy. Keep a lookout for the Student Council elves who hand out candy canes as prizes. We are blessed to have students and faculty who are willing to get in the spirit and participate in this silly endeavor. We hope all of you have a wonderful December and a relaxing winter break. After the break, we are planning more service projects and activities for the students and faculty at Mellon.
Thank you both very much. It sounds like you're doing some wonderful things over there. You've got a great group, Mr. Wolfson.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have from the high school, Caroline Kennedy and Mackenzie Ridge.
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Caroline Kenny, and this is Mackenzie Ridge. We are the class of 2021 co-presidents. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to you about the many activities we have going on at the high school.
Throughout the month of November, our class collected non-perishable food items from our students, administrators, faculty, and staff members. 932 canned goods were donated to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, along with $138. We believe that this donation of food and money will feed a lot of hungry people who live in our community and in surrounding townships.
There have been many great concerts to attend this month at the high school. The orchestra and band concerts last week were wonderful. The percussion ensemble concerts are this coming weekend on both Friday and Saturday nights, and a special concert for children on Saturday afternoon, so please consider attending. There is never a dull moment for those of us who participate in the Fine Arts program.
Currently, the National Honor Society members are organizing the annual gift drive. Each homeroom plans on purchasing the gift requests of teenagers and young adults who are in treatment with or being supervised by the Family Links organization. Overall, we expect that all 83 homerooms will participate, and close to 225 gifts will be purchased to the Family Links clients.
The rehearsals for the Class of 2020 holiday show began tonight. They're actually happening right now. It will be the 41st production of this annual event, and students from all 4 grades will be participating. The senior class will continue the tradition of donating the proceeds from the show to various charities. The recipients this year are the 4 Diamonds Minithon, the Georgia Pogue Personal Achievement Awards, and the Mount Lebanon High School Principals Awards. During the intermission of the show, the sophomore class will be selling refreshments, love notes for the performers, and Pura Vida bracelets. Both of us are looking forward to going to this fun event. It will be held this Wednesday, December 11th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditorium, and we hope you will attend too.
As this month winds down, everyone at the high school is looking forward to a week off from classes. We hope all of you have a wonderful celebration of the holidays as well. Thank you.
Sounds like a very full December and a well-needed break. Okay, moving on, my first official board president's report. Good evening. I would like to start tonight by introducing the 3 new members on the board. First, we have Valerie Fleischer. She is the Chief Operating Officer at River Life in downtown Pittsburgh. She has 2 children at Howe. Jacob Weiland is a defense attorney with the Wineland Law Group. He has 2 children at Hoover. Justin Hackett is an associate professor of psychology at the California University of Pennsylvania. He has 1 child at Mellon and 2 at Howe. I'm looking forward to working with all 3 of them. One of the items on tonight's agenda may seem a bit early, but budgeting timelines change for school districts in presidential election years. Tonight we'll be discussing and voting on a resolution not to exceed the Act 1 index. This means the maximum tax increase the school district can have is 0.64 mils. We know the administration will work hard to keep the tax increase well below this threshold, as they have done in previous years, while still maintaining the quality education the community expects. I would also like to announce the new committee assignments for the board this evening. The policy committee will be chaired by Dr. Aviva Diamond and, this is wrong, Jake Weiland. Board development, it's also PSBA and SBA as well, and that is Dr. Stefan Strottmeyer. A new board position is environmental sustainability, which will be Mr. Hugh Beal. The Mount Lebanon Foundation for Education is Elaine Capucci. Our municipal liaison is Dr. Justin Hackett. The Parkway West CTC is Mr. Michael Reamer with the alternate of Mr. Beal. Our Pathfinder representative is Ms. Valerie Fleischer with Mr. Beal as our alternate as well. And I will be attending the SHASTA meetings when they occur. I want to thank everyone in advance for the work that they will undertake in their committees for the new year. These are important assignments that are vital to the board's governance and representation in local and state partnerships. In conclusion, I would like to wish the entire community a very happy holiday season. May your holidays be filled with joy, and I wish everyone a healthy and happy new year. Dr. Steinhauer, it's all you.
Thank you. It is customary for us to honor our outgoing president, and that's Mr. Reamer. You're way over there. I just can't put my hand on your shoulder, but it's customary to identify a few things that he's led during his time in office. Mr. Reamer served for 2 years as the board president, and Ms. Bowman and I created a long list of accomplishments that have occurred under Mr. Reamer's leadership. And tonight, I picked out of that list of 27 items, everything from the program of distinction for middle states all the way down to completing the middle school and elementary air conditioning. I'm going to just focus on 6 particular items. And I know Mr. Reamer would be proud of all these accomplishments because he certainly was instrumental in making sure that we followed through. The first one is that all 10 of our schools were designated as No Place for Hate in 2019 by the Anti-Defamation League. It was a year-long process where we worked together with the ADL out of Cleveland to identify school-based activities that our children could participate in that would really send the message that our schools are inclusive, welcoming, and no hate, places of no hate. And in 2019, we did receive that designation. Second, I know Mr. Reamer has always counted on academic accountability and academic performance as one of the hallmarks of the Mount Lebanon School District. And just this is one example. I chose niche.com. There's School Digger, Best Communities for Music Education. There's quite a few places and ranking systems that rated us very high. And we're always proud to be mentioned in those. And this one happened to be the Mount Lebanon School District was rated the best in the region for 2 consecutive years. And we were in the top 100 or so in the nation. So that's academics. Something near and dear to Mr. Reamer's heart, we won a Safe Schools Champion Award in 2019, and that had to do with this board's determination to make sure that from an infrastructure standpoint, we were keeping our kids safe. But beyond that, Mr. Reamer led the discussion of mental health and well-being as being a critical component of that school safety. So I know Mike is very proud of that award, and he certainly was a champion for this district. Thinking as fiscal accountability, ASBO International, again, gave us another meritorious budget award, but we could also say we had a clean audit report. We won another award through PASBO. So these are just indicative of the quality budgeting and management of school district assets that occurred under Mr. Reamer's watch. This is a picture of faculty. And I have this up here because under Mr. Reamer's leadership, we approved a new teacher contract that this is year one of a 5-year program. One of the things that we can point to during Mike's presidency was labor rest in all aspects of our school community. And let's see. And really a nice picture, too, here of some of the infrastructure improvements that we made throughout our campuses. And I already mentioned elementary and middle school air conditioning. He brought that in at the end. And also this construction and completion of this athletic field up on the rock pile certainly is something that this entire school district can be very proud of. And when we talk about social and emotional learning, we know that that is something that we're spending a lot of time thinking about with our students and adults. I think Mike models those characteristics of perseverance, grit, determination. Many of you know of Mike's past history, health history, and for him to come back from that so strong and lead this district as the board president for the last 2 years, I couldn't think of a better role model. So Mike, on behalf of the Mount Lebanon School District, we have 2 items for you. First, we have a little replica of the high school, which you can put up, and you were certainly instrumental in doing that, and I'll take those down to Mike. And then we have something in here, and you can open that for everybody. Put that right there. Why don't you open that?
Thank you. I have a feeling I know what this is.
So he can sit in his family room at home and still run things at
Run the
home.
operation. Thank you. I may use it tonight. Well, Dr. Steinhauer, thank you for those very kind words. But I have a couple things to say. This is not about me. This is about 10 people that are sitting here, and it's called the Team of 10. And Dr. Straubmeyer, you brought in the PSBA training for the board development, and I heard from him several times that day that about we act as a team of 10, and that's the 9 board members with the superintendent. And when we work together, we're able to accomplish a lot of things. There's one famous athlete that I hold probably in the highest regard, and I'm a Lebanon resident. His kids went through school here. His name is Rocky Bleier. And if anybody doesn't know his story, you need to look it up because it's incredible. I've heard him speak now 3 times. And Rocky would give the credit for the Steelers organization to the acronym that they use, TEAM. And he said that stands for together, everyone accomplishes more. And when the board works together in unison, we can accomplish incredible things. And what we did here the last 2 years is because of all of us working together and the former board members. But I'm hopeful that Mrs. Olbrich is going to exceed even whatever I've done, and I'm humble at that. I've always looked to punch on to the next level. And Dr. Steiner, I've told you before that I've used some of your lines. I've stolen some of them and used them in my work. And I think there's no greater flattery for being able to do that and push on in your own work. And everybody here brings something to this board. Every one of us has experiences, a career, home life. And, the No Place for Hate and the Safe Schools for me was very dear and special because of my previous occupation as not only a police officer, but the last 5 years being in the school resource officer position here. So thank you for, again, the very kind words. And I'm looking forward to this year and moving on to greater things. So thank you again, Dr. Steinhauer. Thank you.
I'd also like to report that we did have a new school board member orientation, so I want to thank Ms. Flesher, Mr. Weiland, and Dr. Hackett for speed dating through the administrative team. They were very patient with us, and at least we had the opportunity to sit together, and the administration was very impressed with your questions, and we're very confident that you will be great contributors to the school board, and we are here to serve you. And I, too, would like to wish everyone a happy holiday season. This is a great time of the year to spend with family and friends, and I am hopeful that everybody gets the opportunity for a little peace, a little health, and a little happiness. Hence my report.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhauer. Next up is board reports. We don't have anything specifically listed, but if somebody has something from a previous board committee assignment, please speak up. It looks like Ms. Capucci that you have.
It's actually not a previous board committee assignment, but if you wouldn't mind, if I can speak for 1 minute about the Hall of Champions event. And while that is not a board committee, it is a team that I have served on and some way represented the board and have said that I would report out. So the athletic department does do a Hall of Champions event every year. It was held in October. They raised over $5,000. I don't have the exact figure, which money will be put towards the upkeep of our Hall of Champions over in the athletic building and other needs of the athletic department. And the other piece I wanted to let people know about is that the hall is for teams and players and coaches who are WPIAL champions or All-Americans or PIAA champions. But there are other very deserving players, coaches, and teams who may not have won one of those distinctions. And nominations are open because we do have a special category where nominations are reviewed. So if anyone is interested or has somebody that they think should be in the hall that is not, they can go to the athletic department webpage and fill out the nomination form. Thank you for giving me the time.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you. Does anyone else have a committee report? Okay. Moving on. Comments from residents and taxpayers concerning action items for this meeting who have previously requested to speak. Do we have any?
No.
Okay. Comments from residents and taxpayers concerning action items for this meeting, presentations or comments, are to be limited to 4 minutes. Okay. Do we have any unfinished business for board consideration or action?
No.
Okay. So we're moving on to new business for board consideration or action. And tonight is a little bit different in that normally we have our discussion meeting and then a week later we will have our regular meeting in which we vote on them. Tonight we're combining them. So as we present each item, we will discuss it and then call for a vote on the item. So Dr. Steinhauer, financial items.
We moved Mr. Galetko up to the board table so he can go through the financial items.
Absolutely. The Treasurer's report reflects cash transactions for the month of November 2019. All activities are typical for this time of year. The superintendent recommends approval of this report.
Any questions? Continuing on.
The monthly list of bills reflects checks authorized to be drawn between November 14 and December 4th, 2019. All checks are typical for this time of year and have been reviewed by the administration. The superintendent recommends approval of this list for payment.
Any questions or comments? Okay.
The list of tax refunds totals $2,383.26 for one refund. The list has been reviewed by the solicitor's office, which recommends its approval. The superintendent recommends approval of this list for payment.
Any comments or questions? Okay, so moving on. Mr. Reamer, would you make the motion, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves, ratifies, and accepts the following financial reports. Treasurer's report dated November 30th, 2019. Monthly list of bills dated November 27th and December 4th, 2019. And list of tax refunds dated November 30th, 2019.
Second.
Any other questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye.
Okay.
On to the next one. And
Yes.
I want to thank Ms. Albrecht for her wonderful understanding of the budget. It feels like I don't even need to read this now, but
Do you need to read it?
I do need to read it, yes. Let's get it out there. Due to the fact that it is a presidential election year, the district must approve a budget resolution to meet statutory requirements of the Act 1 timeline at this meeting. The Act 1 index for the 2021 school year is 2.6%, which equates to 0.64 mils. The available referendum exceptions for PSERS and special education are minimal. This opt-out resolution certifies that the revenue sources will be sufficient to balance the final budget in May by an amount less to or equal than the Act 1 index. Preliminary projections confirm the board's ability to adequately balance the budget within these current parameters. The superintendent is recommending approval of this resolution.
Now, Mr. Galenko, would you explain a little bit how we came to that conclusion and what our process is?
Certainly. If you saw the meritorious budget award up on the wall, we project out 5 years in the future. Our projection for this school year noted that with no use of fund balance, that we would use just over 1 mil to balance with a 1 mil tax increase. That is without the use of fund balance. We had some anomalies in last school year as far as sabbaticals and the addition of counselors. We feel like that has normalized, and we're expecting more retirements this year, so all signs lead to a difficult budget season as usual, but not quite as difficult in years past. And because of the 2.6% index, 0.64 is the maximum we could go, the average being 0.47 that the board has approved, I believe, the last 5 years. So that would just mean a reduction of 0.17 mils or $300,000. We did get some good news today that the PSERS rate, which was initially projected at 34.77%, came in at 34.51. With our $50 million in salary, that's $130,000 in savings right off the bat from day one. And because of the opt-out resolution, we're not going to adopt a budget that most people would call, a fake budget. We don't want to use that word, but it's a budget that would scare.
You did use that word.
I did. It would scare everyone into
preliminary budget.
Very preliminary
preliminary budget.
We told Mr. Galenko not to use the word fake budget, and he used it.
We didn't have to do that. So
Prehistoric.
the exceptions are going to be less than 0.05 mils, or about $131,000. So we felt that unnecessary to go because it exceeded the average of 0.47 and the 0.64 mils. So Dr. Steiner and I feel very comfortable where we're at financially, and that's the reason we're here today asking for this budget resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Galenko. Does anyone have any questions?
I do.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yes.
If you don't mind, questions about PSERS.
Absolutely.
You gave us the PSERS rate.
Yes.
And I know we will get into this more as we get more into the budget, but if you could just tell us what the increase from PSERS is this year, and why that is so much lower in previous years and allows us to not raise above the index as we had to in the past.
Certainly. So in the past, the PSERS rate jumped from 8% to 12%, from 12% to 18% to 18% to the mid-20s, and now we've worked our way up into the 30s, where it is now going to stay between 35 and 36% projected for the next 5 years. So last year's rate was 34.29%. This year is projected at 34.77%. So that increase is a whole lot less than it was in years past, and that was always the giant increases in the budget were the doubling of the pension amounts.
Thank you.
Could I follow up with that?
Absolutely.
In the past, we've equated a certain percentage of a potential increase with PSERS.
Yes.
Can we know what that?
Certainly. So in the past, we were up over a half a mil at some times as far as increases. We're at 0.12 mils that is just equated specifically to PSERS.
And is there an assumption, perhaps from past reading, I might be mistaken, but there is an assumption that we can get to this 0.64 under by using a certain amount of fund balance?
Certainly. So my initial projection does not use any fund balance, and it uses it would take just over 1 mil, which we can't legally do after doing this opt-out. So with any use of fund balance, that tax increase would certainly be less.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I have a question too, just to refresh my memory on the reduction or the not as much of an increase in the PSERS. That's helping us not to go to 0.64 then?
Correct. So because only 0.12 of the 0.64 mils are equated to PSERS, rather than in years past it being over a half a mil sometimes, just to absorb the PSERS increase.
And I'd like to further add that there have been years where between the PSERS and the sore subject for me is the
charter schools.
Cyber and charter schools has basically been our entire tax increase.
That's correct.
So thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Ms. Capucci, would you read the resolution, please?
I move that it be resolved that the Board of School Directors of the Mount Lebanon School District makes the following unconditional certifications. 1, the school district's various tax levies and other revenue sources will be sufficient to balance the school district final budget for the next fiscal year, 2020 to 2021, based on maintaining current tax rates or increasing tax rates by an amount less than or equal to the Act 1 index applicable to the school district as calculated by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. This conclusion is based on the school district's preliminary budget or other information available to the school board. 2, the applicable index for the next fiscal year is 2.6%, and the school board will not, for the next fiscal year, increase the rate of its real estate tax or any other tax for the support of public education by an amount that exceeds the applicable index. 3, the school board has to date and in the future will comply with the rules set forth in School Code Section 687 for adoption of the school district proposed and final budgets for the next fiscal year. And 4, the school board understands the school district will not be eligible to use Act 1 referendum exceptions for the next fiscal year.
Second.
Roll call, please. Oh, sorry. Any other questions first? Roll call, please.
Beal?
Aye.
Capucci?
Aye.
Diamond?
Aye.
Fleischer?
Aye.
Hackett?
Aye.
Reamer?
Aye.
Strautmeyer?
Aye.
Wyland?
Aye.
Albrecht?
Aye.
Thanks, Mr. Galecki.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 5,
The
Steinhauer.
The board is being asked to disperse donor-designated gifts. These requests have been reviewed by the administration and endorsed by the Philanthropic Advisory Panel to ensure that they are aligned to the donor's request and the district's strategic plan. I'm recommending approval of the following items totaling $23,722.88 for fine arts equipment, technology, things that will be used in the Fine Arts Theater. I should mention that this donor-designated gift was made by John and Carol Walton. They generously donated $250,000 about 4 years ago, and this would conclude the disbursement of their funds, their designated funds for this gift to us.
Thank you, Dr. Steinhauer. That is an absolutely amazing gift to the district. They have been very supportive of our students, and we deeply appreciate what they have done. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay. Dr. Strautmeyer, would you read the resolution, please?
Absolutely. I move that it be resolved that the board approves disbursements for donor-designated gifts in the amount of $23,722.88.
Any other comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Beal?
Aye.
Capucci?
Aye.
Diamond?
Aye.
Fleischer?
Aye.
Hackett?
Aye.
Reamer?
Aye.
Strautmeyer?
Aye.
Wyland?
Aye.
Albrecht?
Aye. Okay. Moving on to personnel.
Board, in front of you, you should have a revised list dated December 9th. Was it at the places? Okay. And on that list, a few things that I would like to highlight. With heavy heart, the board is being asked to accept the retirement of Jeff Ziders, who's one of our assistant principals at Jefferson Middle School. Jeff has spent 10 years with us, and his retirement date would be effective June 30th. The board will also see a number of other resignations, leaves, change in status, changes in assignments, and I'm asking the board to approve those this evening.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay. Dr. Diamond, would you read that, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves the December 5th, 2019 list of personnel changes as revised December 9th, 2019.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Beal?
Aye.
Capucci?
Aye.
Diamond?
Aye.
Fleischer?
Aye.
Hackett?
Aye.
Reamer?
Aye.
Stratmeyer?
Aye.
Wyland?
Aye.
Olbrich?
Aye. Moving on, Dr. Steinhauer to district calendar.
Thank you. The board has in front of them the 2020-2021 Mount Lebanon School District calendar. We're asking the board to consider it with the first day of school of August 24th and the last day of school Friday, June 4th. And Dr. Davis and Dr. Irvin, would you just tell the board the process we use to make sure we get a calendar in front of them?
Certainly, we'd be happy to, and maybe I'll kind of run through the process, and Dr. Irvin can give some highlights from the calendar. So procedurally, we Dr. Irvin and I meet and put together a draft calendar. And as she'll indicate, this calendar is pretty close to a calendar that you've seen in past years in terms of its template and its design. But once we have a draft calendar put together, we share it with...
Hold on. We have contractual obligations. There's a number of required days for teachers, number of required days for students. First, you look at all those items to make sure that statutorily and contractually you have everything in order.
Correct.
Okay, then.
I could have worked all that in.
Yes.
That was my part.
Yeah. But our draft, which includes all of the items that Dr. Steinhauer mentioned, we share it with the PTA presidents, we share it with the local clergy, we share it with the MLEA leadership, we share it with the principals, and we collect feedback on it. And it's designed around the contractual requirements of 184 student days and 194 staff days. And those staff days include both in-service and classroom management time. So then I'll turn it over to Dr. Irvin, and she'll kind of give you some highlights of how the calendar's been built.
Right. So as Dr. Davis says, once we take all those considerations into place, one of the things that we've been able to achieve, I think that's been very helpful to our community, is to have a consistent calendar that looks similar from year to year. Once we finished the construction of the high school, that was having some impact on how we were scheduling things, and listening to some community feedback about where and how it best suited to do breaks for our students and their families. We've attempted to really come up with something that is very similar to what you've seen in the past, over the past several years. One minor change that we made, so in order that the last day for students, especially given the consideration of flexible instruction days that are hopefully going to give us more control over the ending of the school year, and with some feedback from some board members, we changed the final day for students to a Friday. This necessitated, in order to meet all the other requirements that Dr. Steinhauer mentioned, that instead of having spring break start on with a full day off on the Wednesday before that week where we traditionally hold it, we will have a half day for students on that day. We'll also continue to have the half day release before Thanksgiving break, which is something we've instituted a few years ago, and then of course a half day on the last day of school. Other than that, it looks very similar to the calendars that we've seen probably for the last 3 years, and the feedback has all been from all of the constituent groups that Dr. Davis mentioned has been very positive.
Thank you, Dr. Davis and Dr. Irvin. I would like to also mention that on the calendar we have the half day, the day before Thanksgiving on November 25th. We will have a half day for students. We will have a half day for students on December 23rd. and we will have a half day for students on March 31st. So those are the new little pieces to the calendar this year. Any questions or comments from anyone else on the board?
Yeah, we're very cautious with religious holidays. That's why we do spend time with our ministerium to review this. Some years it's not quite perfect, but this year turns out to be pretty doggone close. So we feel very comfortable with it. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Fleischer, would you read the resolution, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves the 2020-21 school calendar as presented by the administration.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Albrecht.
Aye.
So, Ms. Albrecht, we will get this distributed because I know a lot of our parents start planning far in the future. So we'll get it up and out tomorrow.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2 is approval of attendance and expenses for board members at national, state, and local conferences and workshops. This is an annual request to approve attendance and expenses for school board members at national, state, and local conferences and workshops for 2020. I gave the board some information that over the last 6 years, the average has been about $1,600. So the board has been very judicious in spending money to go to workshops, but also has attended workshops in the effort to maintain current and best practices in school board. And I should also tell you that typically, if we go to the Pennsylvania School Board Association, we typically go as a presentation. So this year, Dr. Davis, Ms. Albrecht, and myself presented about our social emotional learning. So not only are we given the opportunity to give some information to some of our colleagues, we're also able to collect some information and bring it back to the school district.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay. Dr. Strautmeyer, would you read the motion, please?
Sure. I move that it be resolved that the authorization be given for attendance and appropriate expenditures of board members at national, state, and local conferences and workshops for 2020.
Second.
Discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Albrecht.
Aye. Number 3.
Item number 3 is the AIU Joint Purchasing Board. Approval is requested to again be part of the AIU Joint Purchasing Board. The district uses this membership to joint purchase utilities, fuel, and other supplies when they are offered at a cost efficient. Membership does not require any specific purchase, and there are no costs associated with this action. And I should note that due to the board's interest in looking at sustainable energy sources, I've also charged Mr. Galecko and Mr. Marciniak to look at making sure that we get quotes from 100% sustainable organizations, and we'll give that information to the board as those contracts become available. But I'm recommending our participation in the AIU Joint Purchasing Board to the board tonight.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, Mr. Beal, would you read that resolution, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves the membership in the AIU Joint Purchasing Board for 2020 as per the attached resolution designating Richard Marciniak as the regular member and Robert Galecko as the alternate member.
Second.
Any comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Strautmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Albrecht.
Aye. Number 4.
ESL Translation Service Agreement. The board is being asked to enter into an agreement with the services with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit for Trans-Perfect Remote Interpreting to provide telephone voice interpretation and document translation for non-English speaking students and their parents. The cost is $120 plus 90 cents per minute for all languages. And I did give the board some information. The average since 2015, I believe when we started using TransPerfect, has been about $1,000 a year.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Okay. Dr. Diamond, would you read that one, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approves an agreement with the AIU for translation services provided by TransPerfect Remote Interpreting to provide telephone voice interpretation and document translation for non-English speaking students and parents in the form presented.
Second.
Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci. Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Stratmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye. Number 5.
And we have one trip for the board's consideration. The high school marching band would like to go to Washington, D.C. They're requesting permission to participate in the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Washington, D.C. on March 13th through March 15th, 2020. The students will not miss any days of school and will be responsible for the cost of their trip. I'm recommending that for approval.
Any questions? Okay. Mr. Wyland, would you read that resolution, please?
I move that it be resolved that the board approve the high school marching band trip to Washington, D.C., March 13 through 15, 2020.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Beal.
Aye.
Capucci.
Aye.
Diamond.
Aye.
Fleischer.
Aye.
Hackett.
Aye.
Reamer.
Aye.
Stratmeyer.
Aye.
Wyland.
Aye.
Olbrich.
Aye. All right. That concludes the action items for our meeting this evening. Do we have any questions or comments from residents? Presentations or comments are to be limited to 5 minutes.
Bruce Slater for 140 Skylark Circle. Just welcoming the new members and the one that's absent also, welcoming him. And I was talking to John Grogan, the athletic director, about the football field and everything. And he thought it was maybe time for its replacement, but I still like to hear an earnest discussion of the pros and cons of the justification for doing it for financial reasons or for just the general condition of the field. It's just what I'm interested in. People on the board thinking about in terms, it's not other people's money that you're spending, it's all of our money. And to keep cost constraints in a reasonable fashion as much as you can. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Slater. Okay, I will announce that our upcoming meetings in January 13th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. We will have our board discussion meeting in this very room, D205, Mount Lebanon High School.
Ms. Albrecht, you might want to mention the policy meeting.
Yes, there will also be a policy committee meeting that evening at 6:30 in this very room, D205 of the Mount Lebanon High School. On January 20th, 2020 at 7:30 p.m. we will have our regular meeting in room D205 of the Mount Lebanon High School. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Can I bang?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.